So one of the big things you were talking about, like
that'll be good.
The difficulty you have with aim. And I think one thing I'm noticing is I feel like you do a lot more movements on the left and right stick than you need to. And the big thing that I'm trying to work on with my aim is being as intentional as I can with every movement. Like every movement I'm making kind of has a purpose. I notice you do like a lot of left stick movement, like you're strafing a lot. It's not exactly in your favor, if that makes like that. See this jump?
I'm
that
not
you just
strafing at the times when. Yeah, what about that jump?
Yeah. So okay.
You can see in moments like you just saw there, I was like slightly elevated, but if I'm even more elevated, I have so much trouble aiming down, especially if they can change their verticality with just moving forward or moving back. That just crushes me.
Yeah, exactly. So making sure I'm intentional with everything I'm doing, and every jump especially you need to be intentional with, because vertical aiming is way more challenging if you're jumping. You're forcing yourself to enter the vertical. In general, you want to enter the vertical with your right stick as little as possible, I would say, and you want to be very aware of when your right stick is moving vertically, because the more vertical you're moving that thing, the more likely you are to spin the thing around in a circle and windmill or kind of overcorrect, because a lot of Halo's gunfights are pretty much like horizontal. Like once you've got it locked down to head level, you're just snapping left and right most of the time, right? Like there's very small adjustments that you need to make. So like even here when you see this guy, there's a lot of left stick movement you're doing here, like that. You actually still shoot pretty well here, so it doesn't actually impact you. But generally the way that I see like strafing movement is I find that I pick up the speed and the difficulty, or like the complexity of my strafing depending on how much health I have, depending on the state in the gunfight normally. So,
good point. Like if I'm more hyper aware of my shields and I know I'm up a few shots, I just have to hit my shots. Yeah,
so it's like you at the start of a gunfight, if he hasn't shot you yet, but I mean, in the end of the day, you want to make sure you hit your shots more than you want to do anything, right? Like shooting accurately takes priority over everything. But like you incorporate more fancier movement, I find the weaker you are and the more intense the gunfight is. Like rather than like pulling out all the stops while you're trying to line up your first shots, because you want those first shots to be as confident as possible. So like when you see this guy
where you have it paused right now, like that moment, my tracking, I know I can do better with it. Essentially, my tracking needs to be a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to following the target with your eyes and being aware of kind of like how he's moving and moving your sticks kind of after you're mentally prepared based on the situation, if that makes sense. Like you're limiting the movement that you're doing as much as possible. So like as you kind of curb slide off here, notice how much your right stick moves. Watch all the movements that you make kind of setting up for this. You go like up, like you went way high above the target's here, right? So like our eyes...
Yeah, we can see the target too.
You can see it. So your eyes need to very quickly catch the target and recognize where he is on the vertical plane, right?
That's
so like
true. Yeah.
Already you're doing unnecessary high vertical movement based on where the target is. So we've gone too high, and then we're correcting low, and now we're too low, right? And we're also kind of behind the target too, right? Like we want our reticle to be like more like here where my pointer is. And then when he comes around the wall, we're snapping and we're hitting that shot immediately. So we're kind of like our reticle's behind.
Now I'm less likely to hit this shot.
Yeah. So really all we want is like, instead of this up down movement, you just want one correction to like here, and then let your left stick, because you're already gliding that direction. Don't even move the right stick, right? Like kind of wait as long as possible to move the right stick. And then when you do move the right stick, the movement that you want is very small, and it's a kind of a quick movement. It's like a little jolt, you know, like a tiny,
yeah,
like the tiniest tip of your finger. So yes, and then notice how we swung out past him. Yeah, so what I want you to do...
What the hell is this, man?
Well,
why am I doing this?
It's fine, but the biggest thing is to become more and more aware of the fact that you're doing it, because the more aware you are of all the overcorrections, of all the unnecessary movements that you're making, the more you're going to start to trim it up and improve it, right?
You're right. I mean, that was 4 overcorrections just now, like for no reason. Like there's no reason. That's so good.
Yeah, so lots is happening, and all we really want is just our reticle kind of near that head level, and then once he appears, like because we know when he's going to appear, you should already have shot him by now, in my opinion. We're already kind of late on the shot, and then the shot didn't even actually... So once again, like there's...
Because I was trying... I don't even know what I was trying to do.
Well, I think because you're moving... The truth is you're moving very fast to the right, and it's kind of like... Here, like, because you're doing a curb slide. This is what's tricky about the slides. So what you want to kind of do is you curb slide, And then while this curb slide happens, before your right stick moves habitually, you want to make sure you're intentional with this right stick movement. Your eyes need to find the target. Your mind needs to kind of know where to expect it too, right? I mean, we're really just looking for yellow icons because we got the convenience of this. But like,
yes,
there's kind of that process where your eyes like, okay, I see him here. I know I'm curb sliding this way. So now your reticle is basically where it needs to be, right? And then like kind of like waiting a second until things line up. And while this is happening, while you're flying through the air, with your reticle in the right vertical position, all that I'd be thinking about in my mind is flicking left and the precise type of left flick I'm going to need to do the moment he appears. So I'm kind of spending all of that time down to the last millisecond
so much easier.
Thinking about the execution instead of all this movement. Yeah.
I am curious about your gameplay. I think that'll be really helpful.
I'll show that in a second. I noticed that you fire kind of a lot of shots. Like here's one that doesn't hit. And then once you hit this guy with the first shot, you kind of habitually fire more. So I guess you're using your left stick a little bit to kind of follow him, but like making sure that there's like, it's not about slowing down, but the pacing is about just being intentional once again with like the shot when it comes out and you're letting your eyes kind of track where he's moving, like expecting. You want to be in like a state of prediction as often as possible, more than reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw your video about preparation, prediction, and patience.
Oh, cool.
So
Awesome.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, see, the moment I jumped, I should have got that kill, but yeah.
Yeah, the jumps don't really help you. I mean, even before, like right here, you did a jump that you didn't need to, right? Like, so like this jump was there's no need for it.
It's so habitual end of the fight whenever either I'm one shot or they're one shot. I don't know why. I just keep doing it, but I definitely need to clean that up.
Yeah, and once
again,
again,
I have full shield, like.
Yeah, you have full shields, exactly. And this jump isn't serving a purpose, right? So like, if you're jumping, it needs to be for something. Like if you're jumping, it's because you're using it as a tool to execute the last shot, sure. But usually it's like if you'd be jumping to this block, let's say. Like if you're jumping,
which I do later, actually.
Yeah, like if there's an intention behind the jump.
When we were top middle after this, I end up jumping to correct my aim.
Right, exactly.
Right,
yeah,
pretty much right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I jump right there. Yep.
There. Yeah, that one's okay. And that's a little more intentional, right? So that's the thing is like we want to make sure that we're not just jumping without thinking about it. It's like we meant to jump because we know it was going to help our aim, or we know it was going to get us to like line up a curb slide or get us up on the map or whatever. But yeah, it's also kind of making the process of aiming a little bit more complicated. Here. Yeah, that jump wasn't needed. I guess.
One shot left and I miss it. Yeah, there.
And this one too, you do it again, like immediately right here, right? And then there's a lot of kind of movement with your right stick kind of searching for the target. Like a big thing to think about when you're shooting these bots is how you're transitioning from target to target and how, like, once again, like any extra movements that are kind of unnecessary and are making it take longer for you to get to where you need to be. So like the way that you go from here to this guy, this one's not too bad, but like you basically want no time in between, like kill, snap, kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when you kill this guy,
I am going to practice that.
So your reticle turns out and there's a yellow dot right here. You've already gone too far, right? So it's like being super aware of like, okay, there could be guys on OS. So you start turning and then you're ready with your eyes and your mind and your reticle as opposed to falling, coming back, and then finding the guy
all that time,
an
Onyx lobby would have shot me.
Yeah, they would have shot you, or just in general, like, yeah, even just as far as like, how can we kill guys as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's just, loss in efficiency, basically. Okay, so this is another good example of all the extra movement that I think you're doing here. So, see all this right stick movement? I'll show it in a sec. Okay, so in this whole exchange here, we fire the first shot, and then watch how your right stick kind of tries to follow everything that he's doing. You move left, and then you go up, and then you jump, and then you go down, and you go right. So there's a lot happening, and it's just making it more and more complicated for you to prepare yourself for the shots that actually matter. And then when you look down, I think maybe you're trying to nade or something. I don't know. You like look down when you slide.
Yeah, I think I was trying to nade.
And then he melee repulses you, or he just repulses. And then when he repulses, you fly, your reticle flies out here, and then it flies out to the right. So now just flick past him.
Right.
And then it flies out past him, and you overflick to the left, too, right? So there's like a lot of movements.
This is helpful.
But yeah, so what we'd want is, so I'd have this reload behind cover, and then I'd pop out with my reticle at upper torso level, and I'd fire the shot. right? And then when no right stick movement would be happening here. Like it would be here and just steady there, right? And then once he backs down, my reticle stays here, and I just watch him with my eyes. If he moves over here, then in my mind, I'm getting ready to take this reticle and snap it over there if I need to. But I don't even move it from here. You know, I don't do any extra movement. Is how I'd kind of try to treat this. So like all of this, because what this is doing is like, yeah, sure, he might jump, but now we have to do so much other correcting to kind of react to like all these different options here. Like I'm not going to take it into that vertical. I'm going to think about the fact that he might go up there and then snap after the fact in the last possible second, rather than doing all of the following. We don't want to follow him with our reticle. We want to follow him with our eyes, kind of, and keep our reticle in a good complementary position.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And now I'm out in the open.
Yeah, now we're positioning-wise, this is rough, right? So we're taking a fight in the angle of this guy who could kill us. And that's why I like to take it from the box first, and then, like, I do the damage, I jet, and I skip to here, and now I'm taking the fight from here, and he's no longer in the equation, and I do it one at a time. So here's another good example. So when we kind of come into this fight here, we see two targets with our eyes, right? So you're shooting this one, but in the back of your mind, you want to remember that he's here and get ready to snap onto him. So when we kill this guy... We do 2 jumps to kill him, by the way. So these are things that are making it more challenging for you to hit your shots, too. And you know that. Just trying to limit those jumps. Or just make sure that you know that you're cognizant about the jump is more important. So what we're doing is the moment we kill him, you have to know, because we know, like, if you can register the fact that he's here on tower, you should be ready to snap to him immediately after this kill. And then watch what happens. See, we went over flicked, right?
You're right. I wasn't even trying to think about that.
Exactly. Like, so I can tell that your mind
has...
Yeah. So, like, your mind is not thinking about, like, how can I make sure that I execute both these guys as fast as possible?
Yeah, because I won't have reveal location on it, so it's like...
You won't. And this is going to kind of help you, I think, naturally, though, over time. And that's why you don't want to just play this. You want to mix in different types of modes. Like, when you're playing FFA, HCS, you won't have this. And this is how I'll know that you're getting better at killing targets more quickly, because you're going to find them faster. Like, if you don't get them within the time limit, it means that you're not finding them as quickly. You know, it's not just about your accuracy. And I think this process of like reticle placement and how you're transitioning from target to target is a big part of that. I'll just show just a random. I
wanted to see your gameplay. Yeah, I would love to see what you do. Yeah, but you got the tech. Ooh, that was clean. Yep, you saw 2. You didn't want to get... And you have Deathless on, right?
I do have Deathless.
You're just kind of chilling. You're just chilling, and then your teammates are shooting. Wow.
So,
you're snapping each target really well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like planning it out in my mind. Like, I know there's 2 here, and I'm making sure that my transition from target to target is 1 smooth, fast, precise motion. 2, and then to this guy. 2, right? And I actually overflicked. If you see it, I've overflicked a tiny bit on my snap from one to the other, but it was still effective enough. Like that was a tiny overflick. And then I have to
hit your shot.
Yeah, but my mind is like, my eyes are recognizing this slight adjustment, you know, and I'm trying to make up for it. And yeah, I back out here because I don't have ammo, and there's 2, and I'm gonna throw the nade and then reload. And I'm jumping and holding down the crouch paddle at the same time, so I'm going up backwards like this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
And it's the same kind of setup, so it's like my reticle is not doing a lot of vertical movement, right? It's a lot of left and right.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
Yeah, so it's like when I come up here, I'm where it needs to be for the most part, here, and then I'm going to snap just 1 right snap. Bam. Here.
So efficient.
Here. And after I get this kill, I know that there's more on my left-hand side. This transition from here to the left is not as fast as it could have been. It was kind of slower, but what's more important... Yeah,
I don't think that's slow. Wow. Well, but you do, so because you're a high level.
It's not the full speed of my sensitivity, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. If like the best possible aim would be smacking straight into it with like perfect precision and landing, but also because he's like kind of out of my sight line, I wanted to just make sure that I hit the shot. So I slowed it down a little bit, and I think it's important that I didn't overcorrect either. Like I still here, and what I did is I kind of flicked within a range, sort of.
Nice. It was barely an adjustment there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then it goes here, and then I make a second adjustment. Like that. See?
Oh, I see. It was a double,
a little bit of like a double take. What I'm going to do when I'm on top of this is like, this is bad. You know, if I'm playing Onyx and there's 2 people here, this is really bad. So I'm actually going to turn, curb slide, nade off the floor.
Oh.
And then jump to this
Yeah,
box.
because you have to nade. There's two people there. Like, you have to set to...
That's the most effective way for me to leave that fight, basically, and still output damage without, like, being exposed to two people and dying for free. Like, there's no way I'm going to outshoot two people. So, yeah, I leave a nade behind, and I'm reloading. And while I'm reloading, I'm holding down the crouch paddle, and I'm trying to hit a short jump to, like, back-facing the box. So I can land on the tip edge of the box. Yeah. And then if I do it perfectly, basically
I'm amazing.
Yeah, so like I'm from the short jump position, I'm like letting go of the crouch button so that my feet extend and I hit the box as early as possible is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to land with my feet, my heels.
So you have more control for longer.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get on top of the box as fast as humanly possible, and efficient as possible. And then once I do get there, I actually miss the jump. You'll notice I fall. And then I do it again. So I'm going to hold crouch from crouch position. I release crouch in the air so my feet extend. I land on the very tip of the box. And while I'm sitting here, I basically just reset my left stick to neutral because I know I'm on the tip. And then I push forward with the left stick, sprint, slide. Like that.
Wow.
And then I come out, I jet.
Wow, that is so clean because this is slowed down, but I bet you full speed, that looks sick.
Yeah.
You're just like, boom, boom.
Like that, crouch, and then I kind of mess this up. A short jump, slide, snap, snap, snap. And every movement with the right stick, see how
oh my god,
how fast and small the movements are? Yeah. So it's like I'm actually late to turn out with my right stick here. But when I do have like the target in sights, it's like I'm gonna do one straight movement. Straight, 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 straight. And it's all like left and right, basically. You know, I'm not doing a lot of vertical. Like, how efficient am I being with each one of these shots and my transitions from target to target? And that's what you're thinking about when you're practicing against these bots. So, like, watch this. I tried to shoot that guy, right? Here, I'll play it again.
Yeah.
So my mind's kind of like recognizing and processing this. Bam, bam, snap.
Shoot. Try to get that guy. Shoot.
Back to this guy. Yeah. And I have one bullet left, so I'm going to take my time and make sure I hit it.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's all for this discussion. I just wanted to thank TeacherMan657 for letting me post this. I was not planning on uploading this. I just felt like there was a lot of good insight on how to practice and improve your aim in Halo, and something that would be relatable, I think, for a lot of people. If you're interested in coaching, I think obviously it's a great way to improve. I've got a link to my coaching sessions in the description. We actually talked about a lot more in that conversation. We talked more about aim, about my control setup and theory behind it. We talked about the spawn system. If you guys want to listen to the full unedited conversation, I'm trying this out for the first time. I've uploaded it to my Patreon. If you subscribe at the lowest tier, the $5 tier, you're going to get access to my coaching sessions. That's the plan. I want to upload more and more of these sessions to Patreon, assuming I get this consent from the students. And then you'll get access to extra exclusive content if you're on Patreon, and then I get some support at the same time. So it sounds like a win-win to me. So make sure to check out Patreon if you want these full unedited conversations. You like the idea, let me know in the comments, and we can kind of keep adding to this. And thank you to my current Patreon subscribers, by the way, for the continued support. Happy Thanksgiving to my fellow Americans. I'm Canadian, so I celebrated a month ago. I'm going to leave you guys with a challenge. Try to get as many kills as you can in 15 minutes. Try to hit 150. It's 10 kills per minute. I'll give you an example of a 148 kill game. I've linked it as an unlisted YouTube video in the description. It's my gameplay. There's a lot of room for efficiency and improvement in my gameplay as well. So I'm very confident any high-level player can hit 150 and maybe beyond with it. But good challenge for the weekend. And that's it. Till next time, more content right here. This is the way.